Good morning, everybody. How are you? Oh, I was going to turn on the light and I forgot. It's dark in here. Let me turn on some light for you. Just a second. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. How are you? Good morning. Hey, Jetlag. How's the packing and the moving and stuff going? Is it progressing? Uh, let's go a little bit. There we go. It is August 12th, 2018. Welcome to UnKaged Fury, the show where, up to this point, I have played old nostalgic video games that I didn't get to play when they came out. But now it seems like some companies are maybe cracking down on ROM sites, so I may have to change the theme of this show, because I'm not sure. We'll see. I mean, I'll keep trying to play old games, but it's possible that I just won't be able to play them anymore, because I'm not going to buy, like, try to find a working SNES and cartridges and get, like, a video hookup card and all the various nonsense that would be involved um, in trying to do that. Uh, Good call, Jetlag. That's always that's always a good thing to do when you're in the middle of moving. You shouldn't try and pack it all into like just a couple days. You should stretch it out as much as you can. But yeah, so I have some feels about this ROM problem, um, specifically, which is, as I think Rami put it really well on Twitter, as he often does, Rami Ishmael, who said uh, that until game companies get better about preserving and archiving their old games, um, taking down ROM sites is kind of like destroying museums. Like you're burning down like the one place that's actually able to preserve these old games so that people can re-experience them. And like as someone whose whole stream is dedicated around the idea that like it's still worthwhile experiencing these old games, and sort of analyzing where our modern games came from and the history of this stuff, it's just really sad that you know there's no good way to preserve things. I know there are some like actual museums and stuff out there that are dedicated to trying to preserve old games, but not very many, and I don't know how well they're doing. I haven't heard that much. I don't know that much about them, but yeah, it's I don't know, feels kind of weird and bad. Um, I was talking to Huck about like if you tried to. I wonder if there would be a way to propose some kind of rule set whereby, um, if a company chooses not to exercise or is unable to exercise their copyright on a particular piece of media for a certain period of time, then people are allowed to make free archive copies available to the public, right? Because it's not just video games that could suffer from this problem, right? Like books that go out of print become really rare and hard to find as well. And luckily you've got like Project Gutenberg, preserving a lot of like old classic stuff, and like the real classics are remaining in print, so it's not a huge deal, but like the real classics of games are not remaining in print because there's a lot of old classic Nintendo stuff that isn't available for any virtual console, right? No one's continuing to produce it. There's no idea that hey Buckster, we're talking about the fact that one of the biggest ROM websites, Emu Paradise, just got or Emu Paradise, just got taken down, and how difficult it is to preserve old games, and how nobody's kind of doing that, and we're in danger of like losing a big chunk of the history of games because like people are not legally allowed to try and preserve them because of the company's copyrights, because it's like part of the problem is the speed at which this industry moves, right? Like it's within the copyright lifetime that these old games exist, and yet they are like a really important step in the the very fast-paced history of video games. Maybe if you were making some rule about this sort of archival clause, you could say something where like if the company that does own the copyright and the IP has first and continuous rights to creating archive copies, like if they want to create copies, like make the game available for their virtual consoles and charge a price, then they are at any point able to do that, at which point anyone who made any place hosting archive copies is required to take them down. I have no idea, Buckster. I'm kind of pontificating without being super well informed. In this case, I haven't looked up a lot of the sort of legals on ownership of games and ownership of ROMs. I'm sure the distribution of ROMs is illegal, because like even creating archive copies for yourself is has never been a legal outlet for distributing those copies. Like if you rent a VHS and make a copy, you're not allowed to sell the copies of the VHS, etc. But the thing is, I don't think anybody's going to make ROMs if they can't share them with people. So you don't like make an archive copy to preserve for yourself with games, usually because it's such a complicated process. Yeah, and there's a difference between like making an archive copy and making a new game based on an old IP, which is not, which is a kind of a blurry line. And like this is not a black and white issue, but I do think that overall it's important that we respect the history of these games and that we work to not lose it. Like I think there's a real danger that 50 years from now, there's no way of recreating any of these old games, and that would be really sad. Yeah, no, I'm familiar with that, Buckster. The idea that like, it's you have to aggressively pursue copyright in court, or else people will use that against you. I was talking about like the idea of specifically creating legislation about archive copies and about like archival material that says that like if a company does not make a piece of media available after a certain amount of time, it is legal to create and distribute free copies of that media up until such a time as the company that owns the IP chooses to do so itself. And by chooses to do so, I mean chooses to make any copy available, including paid copies. I don't know if a rule like that would be even plausible, but I don't know. Public domain is become longer and longer due to Disney. Disney, like extending the copyright of Mickey Mouse and lobbying for extended copyright of Mickey Mouse, has made reasonable copyright laws just extinct in the U.S. But copyright expiration time, duration of copyright, life plus 70, 95, or 120 years, depending on the nature of authorship. So it's some amount of time after the death of the original creators. And I feel like there's got to be like a better way to protect this sort of Mickey Mouse Disney copyright that doesn't involve just extending the timeline. Like, why isn't there some kind of like continuous stewardship clause where it's like if people who own the copyright have continued to make media on that copyright since the original, then like the expiration time keeps going. But if they're like the original authors have not continued to make media using that copyright, then it doesn't expire, or like something that could not make it so that like no one can ever use old media ever again in the States. But anyway, let's play a game. Let's do the thing that we're here for. I want to play some Metroid. And I mean, luckily I did play all of the like biggest name things that I was looking forward to playing before this happened, but there's a good chance I just won't be able to keep doing this stream if I can't get ROMs. Like I was maybe going to do Link to the Past at some point, even though I've technically already played most of that. But I don't know. Oh, good to know, Buckster. Thank you. I'll keep that in mind. Yeah, hopefully there's already a lot of copies out there of things that that people have already made. So okay. I don't remember much of what we were doing other than we failed a bunch at wall jumping and we learned about spark jumping. And there's an area down there which we can maybe get to. And we got super bombs. I feel like there's some reason why we still can't get to that area down there, and I'm not sure why. Alright, let me get used to my controls again. Okay, and I can now big bomb the screen, and that opens these doors. That's right, there was something real bad about this room, which was the platforming, I'm pretty sure. Come on, let me out of the fucking guy, please. What the? There we go. If it's possible to, well, no, I guess we don't have enough lead up. I was gonna say, I wonder if it's possible to use the charge to charge over small gaps like this, if that's a thing. God, this is an annoying section. Of course, that can happen too. Just continuously eaten by plants. Come on. Come on, Samus. Jump. No, jump when I tell you to jump, please. And don't get eaten. There we go. It'll only cost me 1 energy tank. Okay. So. There's a reason why I couldn't get to there. And I'm sure I'll discover it when we get here. Oops. How did I end up on missiles? Should I go to the energy refresh place first, maybe? Okay, so the reason I couldn't go before was literally just because it needs a super bomb. Oh, yes. Okay, I did try going here last time, and I died real hard. Because you don't shoot the light bugs, or else it gets dark. Okay. I'm going to save game position here in slot 1. So I don't have to, when I inevitably die to this. Now, the problem is if I run into them at all, then it gets dark. I can't get up on top of those blocks, can I? Oops, I did not mean to shoot that twice. Can I stop him over here such that I can jump? No, not really. Because there's like a whole nother set of spikes there. Alright. So this is a sort of puzzly type way to try and go. There's probably something cool at the end of the puzzle, but I'm not quite sure how they expect me to get across here. Other than maybe freezing the enemies and jumping. Where are you? And now, of course, I can't get onto it. Alright. Oh shit, I'm at very low energy. Maybe put that off for now. Sure. Where's the nearest save? try our luck in Norfair. That looks like a boss I killed over there. Alright, let's try exploring in a different direction for a little bit, rather than continuing to beat our head against that. Oh, that's right. This is the room where I need to take off my high jump boots, because I need just that little bit of extra long jump. That was just a way to see the fact that there was another thing up there. Yeah, I mean that could be true, but it's not that hard for me to take the boots on and off. Aha! That is a thing. Nice. Oh, this is underwater. That would be why it's... I see. Is there another one of those I can destroy over here? No. Alright, let's retry saving. Save slot 1. And let's just explore. Slow underwater jumpies. Come on. No. There's a pink door down there. But I want to try going up first because that seems harder. Why I can't quite get up there? That really seems like... Okay. Whew. I was gonna be concerned about, like, how could Samus breathe, but then it occurred to me that I'm literally in a spacesuit. So, like, yeah, it actually makes perfect sense that I can breathe. Ooh, this is some eerie music. interesting. There are those, as they say, crabs. Interesting crabs. God, there's so much map here that I, like, have not explored. Yes, interesting crabs. Capital I, capital C. Like, hey, have you thought about how interesting it is that those crabs are coming from somewhere? Oh, good. A map room. Whoa. This is a lot of stuff. There's a boss over there, I think. Look at all this stuff. Okay, and I totally missed a save point back there. Because I didn't want to go down. Alright, well, I guess I should go down there. First, I'm gonna see what's over this way. Because this looks like just a single long corridor, as far as I can tell. Well, this is not underwater. Interesting. Just wanted to check because it seemed weird that there was a little area down with nothing in it. Okay, so for future reference, there is a way up right there. Here, there is a save room. Oops. Might help if I saved in the save room. Yeah, no, that's a great way of queuing things. You have to do, if you're going to do something like that, we're going to have a thing that, like, directs the player's attention like that. Ideally, you kind of introduce that as a concept in an easy-to-find way, so that, so that they'll be able to find it in more obscure ways and places later. Okay, this is a very complicated, interconnected water area. Water areas are not usually, like, anybody's faves. Water levels traditionally suck in games, so I guess we'll see how the water level is in this game. Alright, so here's a question. If the jumps are so much slower in this, does that make the wall jump easier?
Yeah, probably doubles it. Instead of being a 1-frame window, it's a 2-frame window.
Okay. No, that's not what I meant to do. This was the way I meant to go. Is there a way up in this room? It definitely feels like there could be. Just to be sure. No. Okay. Okay, how do I jump out of this though? Okay, this is quicksand. And I can tense my thighs a lot in it. But I'm not sure how I'm supposed to jump. Do I have to like super mash? Like what's the deal? Okay. I will take your advice and I will state safe. Slot 3. Why doesn't that... do I need to take off the boots again? Clearly not. Okay. Well, what if I... Right, because that's... Those things are, like, pushing me downwards. So... There's gotta be a specific like place from which I can jump that my trajectory goes exactly where I want it. Ideally, I want the top of my arc to be like right around this. I mean, I assume this is supposed to be a thing I can do right now? Question mark. Yes, I would like that answered, whether or not this is a thing I should be able to do right now. I cannot do it now. Okay. Good to know, because I would have spent a lot of time trying to do that otherwise. Thank you. Well, I would have figured it out eventually. I assume from some speedruns that I've seen that there is a suit whose power is there's a suit upgrade that lets me move normally in water, and so I assume I probably need that in order to do most of this. Yeah, like speedrunners could probably do it, but not Kyla's. Okay, so the only way to get out is back down. That's nice of them to actually cut off the way back, because it forces you to go to the place where you're likely to discover the map room in order to get out of this area, which is useful. Those little flies can travel through the background. Alright, so this is... Oh, I was going to say, this is theoretically all explored, except there's clearly a corner there that is a place that's partially explored. And, for instance, that door has not been opened. I don't think. I don't know if speedrunners... Do speedrunners use a metronome to train? Is that a thing?
Well, you're the one who told me with Hyperlight.
No, I told you Carl did that for for our podcast.
Oh, it seems like a good idea.
for things that are rhythm based. So in Hyperlight Drifter, there's like a challenge where you have to get like I don't know 400 dashes in a row or something absurd. I forget what it is. And or 800, I think. Okay, well, nice of them to not give me the map until after I have the bombs, because they don't want me to see the full extent of all the places that I could be going here. Which is literally the reason. Okay, and there's the boss there. And now we know. So yeah, so the thing with that challenge is you have to get into a rhythm, basically. It's all about like jumping on, you know, or like hitting the dash button on the correct frames. So to do that. Oh, that's right. This is like closed off by one of those walls that only opens from the other direction, right? That's why we can't go further? Yeah, exactly. Okay. But the map leads me to believe that up there might be a way to get down. There's also a corner I missed there, which I really want to go back for. Even though that doesn't make any goddamn sense. Yeah, so Carl, to get the rhythm for making that dash challenge, just set a metronome, and then just, you know, press the button on the metronome, on the metronome ticks, which is a great way of doing it, to be honest. Yeah, that they don't show the way they do pathing in this is interesting. It has its pros and cons, I guess. Oh, wrong trigger. It's left, right? Oh, is it right? It's one of these triggers. Or am I... Oh, no, it's the Y button. Okay. Up and to the right. It would be nice if they showed the connections between places for doors that you've already opened, so you don't accidentally, so you don't have to like memorize what these areas were in order to like go around them. You know what I mean? So I did end up getting up there somehow. Yeah, like I could see that being a good thing to try, using a metronome. It really gives you the, you know, the rhythm just outright. Destroyed one of the important dudes, so just gotta go in and out again. state save here for a moment. In slot 9. To avoid that. Wait, did I save it instead of load it? Yeah, I did. Fuck. Alright. We'll do it again. Too far out. That's what I would like in this game is map coloring of that sort. Shit. What controls these things? Are they like attracted to my position? Are they random? Like, how do I control the height of these? Nope. Look, there's no reason for me to want to get that extra corner. It bothers me that it's blue. When it could be pink. Very easily. All of a sudden making it look like it was easy. Save slot 9. Also save slot 8 just in case. I think the AI is somehow based on your height. No, that would have been perfect. Space jump? Do you mean the jump boots? What's space jump? I mean, I have high jump boots, which I can turn off. Shit. That's very anti-productive. I probably could have gotten that if I was not wearing the high boots. Okay, let's take these off and then resave. I mean, clearly I did this once already, successfully. Maybe I came out the other way, though? Is that possible? It doesn't look possible. I'm tempted to actually just work my way back up there now, if these guys are still around, just because I would have to put my boots back on. Just because I destroyed that guy, it was really annoying. So if I can do this without destroying these guys. There we go, like so. Okay, and now save it like that. Now I don't have to worry about that little dude there. That was not the right button. Okay, not far enough. It's definitely not far enough. I don't think that's far enough either. Yeah. I think I just have to not hit him on that cycle. I froze something. No, I destroyed something. have state saved there. Oh, no. We will save that one in slot 7. I feel like I should be able to make that. Okay, wait for that guy to come up. Nope. There's got to be a way through this through this particular pattern that. Yeah, I mean, I figure. Fine. No, I should probably try other things and not try that one thing. I do want to see what I missed over there, though. I think there was probably a good reason why I missed it, and okay, yeah, I had to go down and around for that one. I kind of remember this place being very frustrating. That's not what I meant to do at all. Oh well. Oh, might help if I put my high jump boots back on. Let's not be on mega bombs, shall we? I seem to remember that whatever that place was very frustrating to get to. This is basically just a... just a refill your stuff room. Now, I suspect there is a way from here to get down into the room below, but I don't know if I can survive the lava enough. finish what I was doing before I start doing new things. I was going to see why that one place was... Oh, right. Lava rising. Oh, this thing. Yeah, that's right. There was a area here where to cross over a bunch of spikes and I couldn't do it. And that was why we did not do that. And there were those platformy thingies. And I apparently got all the way across, but then I could not get across the following room. So I'm not going to try again, because I think I still don't have what I need for that. I'm going to assume. Oh, and that does, so I can approach from the other side. How handy. Well, time to get that corner then. File, save, slot 1. Okay, the answer was there was nothing there. But now it's pink and will bother me less. Fantastic! Let's go look for some places where we can get into the lower concourse. Actually, let's get back to a save and then take a break, and then try and look for a place where we can get into the lower concourse. There's almost certainly a way down here somewhere. but I'm not gonna sit in the lava enough to find it, I think. Yeah, peace of mind. That way I know I've checked, right? Alright. Let's go over here. I'm gonna take a short break. Maybe eat something, we'll see. And then I'll be right back. And we'll see if we can find the entrance to that giant unexplored area of the map. Don't go away.